Time to see what the wizards are up to.
Hey everyone, we have some awesome stuff today. We have, if anyone that's a backer on the Nova Collection, if you saw the update yesterday, we finally got our pre-production sample, and Rob's gonna, I don't know if we can fit it in this little space we have for our streaming, but Rob's gonna show that off.
Show off the giant box.
Have some Heroes Dungeon cards to share with everyone, so lots of cool stuff. So I have a couple quick things to cover before then, and then we'll jump right into that. Awesome stuff. So let's see. Oh, we wanted to mention Realms Rising. They now have a blog. If you haven't checked it out and you're a Heroes player, or if you're not a Heroes player and you want to see what the hype is all about, I highly recommend this. Realms Rising is actually a podcast and a blog now. So it was a podcast and we've talked about that. So I'll mention that again. And Rob actually spent a lot of time chatting with them, doing a recording recently. I'm not sure if it's gone live yet or if it'll be going live soon, but he went way back telling his life story over a little bit of the conversation. So that's definitely going to be a good session, a good episode on the podcast. So definitely recommend. And I've had multiple people reach out to me to be able to use art, in their posts on the Realms Rising blog, and the topics and the writers are awesome. So I highly recommend you check that out. So we just wanted to do a mention because there's a lot of awesome work going into that. And thank everyone as well. Our current giveaway. So we do a weekly giveaway. This is a worldwide giveaway. We are giving away Star Realms Promo Pack 1 and Scenario Pack. So Promo Pack 1, these are the promo cards that came with the original Star Realms Kickstarter.
A lot of awesome cards in there.
You play this on the app because it is already in the app. So many awesome cards, like maybe some slightly overpowered.
Yeah, like the Arc, perhaps. Yeah,
and Scenarios is also really cool too. So yeah, we have that going as a giveaway. To enter, Saf will post in the comments how you enter. Clearly, I need to get that information ahead of time, but I keep forgetting.
So this is a really great giveaway because those are a couple sets that a lot of people don't have. So maybe you don't have them, or if but there's a good chance if you have them, one of your friends doesn't. So this is it's a really nice giveaway. Those are some really cool packs. Scenarios has
Scenarios.
Yeah, so Scenarios has, if you ever have played Arena in the Star Realms digital app, the Scenarios pack was sort of the inspiration for the Arena format. So in Scenarios, basically every week you'll have a different every week in Arena you have a different format. There's different rules. In Scenarios, you have exactly that. You've got cards that give special rules on how to play. You can pick one to play. You can set up a little tournament where you can deal out a bunch of these and play through them. But the scenario cards are really cool. They changed some basic rules in Star Realms. So it's a great pack. A lot of good stuff in there.
Uh-oh, looks like no time change in Arizona. Oh, so you can come and join us. Great.
Nice.
All right. Let me get back to where I was. Sorry. So it looked like in the comments that there's a little concern, Rob, that the reason that you stopped responding to comments, that maybe people were too critical in the comments on the Kickstarter update, but I think it's that we went to bed. It's probably that. So yeah, I mean, what happens is we do comments in spurts where Rob will have a chunk of time and he'll go in and he'll respond to comments. So he probably hasn't seen every single comment, but that we'll be back on that after the stream. But people, if you have questions or comments, you can post them here as well. And we're going to be showing the sample. So if there are questions that came up that haven't been answered in the Kickstarter comments, feel free to post them here and we can address those. And we love feedback. So we don't you're not going to hurt our feelings unless someone's just, occasionally you do get the person that's just you know, just a very angry person and is very angry at things that are completely outside of our control. But like generally, even those things that are very outside of our control, we also are very upset and not happy about that as well. So, you know, we want to get these games as much as you do. So we are doing our best, but we try really hard not to take, you know, any of the feedback personally. So please don't like hesitate if you do have feedback to let us know.
And also a basic important thing, I am when a Kickstarter's live, I'm on there constantly. When a Kickstarter's done, basically the primary way to communicate with us is support. So you can, you know, email support at wisewizardgames.com. You can totally comment, and every once in a while I go back and I take a look at the section or staff or someone else on our team will take a look. But basically, if you have anything that's remotely urgent, you know, you can you know, ping support. Obviously you can ping in the comment sections, and sometimes I'll happen to be on and I'll answer quickly. Other times it might be a while before that comment gets answered. And of course, as Debbie said, you can always drop in here and ping us a comment on our weekly streams. This, one of the reasons we do this is to make us and our process more accessible to you guys. So if you have any questions, you always ask them here.
Yeah, and there's the email. And I had posted up there before that if you want to enter this week's giveaway. So we had feedback that Gleam was a bit complicated for people and not everyone likes to use Gleam. So we are trying this out. Let us know if you have other ideas on giveaway, you know, how we could run our giveaways, since we had a lot of people say they didn't like that, but they didn't actually tell us how we should do it. So we're trying out, you know, you can just follow one thing. So if you're already following us on Twitter, you'll be entered. And if you're not following us on Twitter, you can follow us on Twitter to be entered. And that way, you know, if you're already following us and getting our communications because you're active on Twitter. I know everyone isn't active on every platform. So if you're not active on Twitter, don't worry. We're going to have, you know, we're doing weekly giveaways. So there's going to be something else that comes up that you are active on. Like, you know, I was going to say maybe we should do Reddit, but I know a lot of some platforms don't allow us to do giveaways as well. So we have to, you know, we have to figure that out. Yeah, we like having the stream to answer questions and encourage people to ask their questions on the stream. But we do recognize that also some people don't have the time or aren't able to come to the stream. So we try to, we've actually been trying to like get our updates posted before we share something as big as the box sample on our stream, because, you know, some people can't come to the stream and they're like, hey, we really actually want on the Kickstarter. So that's why it was posted, you know, later in the evening, because it's like, we've got to get this up kind of thing. So we spent a bunch of time going over the sample, taking photos. Rob was happy to do a video for me and Mateo. We got it all set up, and but yeah, so we've been trying to do both. And but yeah, if there are questions that are unanswered, feel free to bring them here. Reddit is scary. Yeah, it is scary, but there's actually quite a few people, you know, talking about Star Realms and board games over there. So we, you know, try to go and participate wherever people want to talk about our games. So I'm not personally super active on Reddit, but I go over there every so often, and it's an interesting place.
See, Peter Schultz said hi. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Peter. Keep those cutie pictures of Max coming.
Oh my gosh, Peter's son is so freaking cute. Oh my god.
Kids. Feel free to message me pictures of young children and babies. Okay, so sorry, we're getting sidetracked here. We're gonna head into some dungeon spoilers, Rob.
Yes. Well, we had that slide as well.
Shoot, I'm in the wrong place. Sorry. Thank you, Rob. I was actually totally in the wrong place. So let's see.
Go ahead.
Is you. No, actually. Oh, well, this is me. Last week's winner, Paul B. Sorry. Want to congratulate you. You won the Command playmat. Congratulations. Support will reach out to you. Okay, Rob.
Okay, so PAX Unplugged coming up December.
It's the 10th through the 12th.
Yeah. And we have a bunch of events there. So we're not going to have a booth in the main hall. We're having a smaller staff go to this, but Debbie and I will be among the people there. We're going to have a big booth in the events area, and we will be selling stuff. So if there's any Wise Wizard Games products you want to pick up, we'll have a bunch of cool stuff there. And we are going to be running Legend Series tournaments. We're going to have a Star Realms and a Hero Realms Legend Series tournament at PAX Unplugged. So if you're able to join us there, that'll be awesome. And we are also going to be running a digital Legend Series. We have not worked out the details for the digital ones yet, but coming in the next couple months, we're also going to be doing something online digitally. So if you can meet us at PAX Unplugged, awesome. And also we'll be doing Legend stuff online later as well.
And for both of those, the online and for the one at PAX Unplugged, we'll have those top 8 playmats, the really awesome, beautiful ones that say like top 8 for the top 8 winners. And we will have trophies as well.
We don't have an image of the playmats, do we? Anyway, the playmats
we'll
look awesome.
We
showed them on previous streams, but
yeah, so
really
we'll drop
cool.
one in next week because I think I've kind of cleaned up my images here, so I don't have as many. They limit how many images I can have in StreamYard here. So yeah, so okay, so that's PAX Unplugged. Also, well, a couple of the other events we'll be running learn to plays for various games, and just our booth will be in the tournament hall. So if you're at PAX Unplugged, look for us in the tournament hall. We'll be doing a blog post very soon.
Yeah.
Oh, and the tickets for the Legend Series, those will be on our Shopify store. We'll be doing a blog post, and then also details in the can't even talk this morning. We'll post the details, the links to that in our social media platforms, and also it will be, I don't think PAX Unplugged has launched their events, but the link for those will be there. And we'll also be running arena in the evening. So we decided to do the tournament hall. We wanted to have one location because it's open till midnight. So we'll be there all day and all night. And if people want to hang out and play, you can hang out, in that area at night, and we'll have the arena going, which is an in-person game where you can play any of our games against each other and
win a playmat.
Yeah, you can win a playmat. So, which is super fun. So yeah. So let's see. I lost my place again.
Here we go. All right.
All right, Rob.
I'm going to be spoiling a few cards from Dungeons. So we've got a awesome set of Hero Realms physical that's going to be coming to Kickstarter next year. We were actually planning on having it running about this time, but we've decided to wait and get because of the craziness with production and shipping right now. We're waiting. We're getting all our files, ready to go with the Hero Realms Dungeons, and so that we'll have a better idea when we can get stuff to backers before we launch the Kickstarter. And we have I have a few cards to tease this week, and we're going to be teasing stuff over time for this upcoming Hero Realm stuff. It's got a base set with all new market deck. This Explorer card is an example of one of the cards in that all new market deck. We also have 6 new characters with adventure decks, which will give them all the skills and abilities and treasures they need to level up to max level or to play in the Ruin of Thandar campaign. We also will have a 12-part dungeon adventure in this Kickstarter, and which is a sort of separate campaign you can play through, and the next installment and Watery Graves, the next installment of the Ruin of Thandar campaign will be available as an add-on as well. So all kinds of cool stuff coming for Hero Realms. So some new cards. So Explore. This is a nice, cheap, wild action. And it's like many wild cards in Hero Realms, this card's great for digging through your deck. So when you play Explorer, you're going to get it. You're going to get a gold. You're going to get a couple combat, and you can draw and discard, help you dig through. It also has the ability to be sacrificed for an additional 3 combat. So this card's pretty good at any stage of the game. Early in the game, it's not going to harm your gold because obviously it gives you a gold and you get to cycle through a card. And so it'll move through your deck, give you basically give you a little bit of gold. And then later in the game, you can get up to 5 combat playing this while moving through your deck. So it's a pretty solid early game card. And I really love the artwork we've got in these sets as well.
Yeah, we had a request for Barbarian there, Rob, but Peter let them know we will have a Barbarian.
Right. Yes. All right. Rune of Resolve. This is using our new mechanic that's featured in this set. There's a bunch of cards in the Dungeons deck, which when you acquire them, they go to the bottom of your deck. So this is a pretty subtle ability, like going to the bottom of your deck as opposed to going to your discard pile, but it's surprisingly powerful. You can use that that ability to set up ally abilities. Let's say you've got a Imperial card with a good ally ability, and you haven't drawn it yet. You know it's near the bottom. You know, and you've got like let's say 6 cards left in your deck. If you buy this, okay, or sorry, if you got like 4 cards left in your deck, you buy this. That becomes the 5th card left in your deck, and you know that this card is going to pair up with that Imperial card you've got. Later in the game, this can just get you those powerful cards you need, because sometimes later in the game when you buy something, you don't know if the game's going to last long enough to get it to you, especially with Rune of Resolve here, because this gives you combat, which will allow you to get those enemy champions off the table or finish off your opponent, and health gain to keep you alive. So this card can be really a rock star late in the game. And that ability to sort of manipulate your draws by putting this on the bottom of your deck can be very powerful. And of course, sometimes you get to the point where there's no cards left in your deck. And so if you buy this, it'll go to the bottom of your deck, which if you have no cards in your deck is also the top of your deck. Then you can immediately draw it with a draw effect. So these when you acquire put on the bottom of your deck cards have some really cool gameplay features. They're really nice because they're super easy to understand. Casual players can understand that pretty easily, but advanced players can really milk it for some extra power.
We have a question.
Okay, so if you have, a couple things. One, where the wording on when you acquire this is going to be a may. You may put it on the bottom of your deck, partially to avoid the issue of accidental cheating. We don't, so basically if you buy it and you don't put it in the bottom of your deck, then you draw cards and shuffle or whatever. It's not like, you played the card wrong. You just have the option. You'll have the option of putting it on the bottom of your deck. And basically, sometimes in the Realms games, you'll have a bunch of effects that say, put the next card you acquire into your hand, put the next card you acquire on the top of your deck, put the next card you acquire on the bottom of your deck, these various locations. When you have a bunch of those available, you get to choose which one you're doing. So basically, if you had a put the next card you acquire on in your hand, and when you acquire this card, put it on the bottom of your deck, you can choose to put this on the bottom of your deck and save the other effect. So basically, if you have multiple sort of competing effects that are trying to put things in various locations, you choose which one to use, and then if appropriate, you can save the others. All right, the Rattling Collector. This guy, we have some cards that do sort of play with some of the different mechanics in the game. So this guy gives you a gold, and for the rest of the turn, whenever you acquire a card, you're going to gain a combat. So if you've got a guild deck that has tons and tons of purchasing power in it, this little guy can give you a pretty decent amount of combat. And sometimes it can sort of mess with what your purchase decisions, like, oh, okay, I'll maybe you're at the point of the game where it's pretty late in the game, you're not sure if you're going to get back around to the card you're purchasing, but there's a pretty nice expensive card that you want to buy. It'll do something cool if you do happen to draw it. But with a Rattling Collector out, you might just start buying every 1 and 2 cost card that you can get your hands on just to get that immediate combat. So maybe making your deck a little bit worse if the game lasts long enough, but you just need that combat, especially if maybe your opponent has a particularly pesky champion you're trying to get off the table. So this guy's really interesting. He's a nice little guild champion, gives you a little purchasing power, and will usually generate you a combat or two. But sometimes you can, if you get a bunch of if you get a bunch of gold available, you can milk a bunch of combat. And yeah, and as pointed out, you could just buy a bunch of fire gems with this guy out. So if you had like 8 gold available, you could just buy 4 fire gems and get 4 combat. And the question, if you prepared it and expended it again, would it stack? Yes, this is an expendability. So basically, if you had an ability to prepare a champion and you did this again, then you would get a second gold, and you'd have 2 whenever you acquire something gain a combat. So if you could, if you could get multiple of these going, that would be cool. So we have a question: can you play as a ratling? So we do not have currently. We do not have a ratling ancestry designed, but it is certainly something that we could add to the game. Likely not in this Kickstarter, but that's but that would be adding to the ancestry list would be would be cool.
Jack's off watching the Barbarian spoilers from last week. So, yeah, the
Barbarian is super cool.
We've been sharing a lot of spoilers, and also that's one of the nice things about changing the date of the Kickstarters. We'll be able to share a lot more before the Kickstarter. Stretch goal, yeah. Someone suggested it's a stretch goal. So Game Freak, don't worry, we'll have this available for replay. So on YouTube, here on Facebook, and on Twitch. Oh, I agree. Would be nice to see a mini expansion with pets for each class.
Well, certain. So I obviously you've got the cat familiar when you're playing the wizard. If you get the right treasure playing the ranger, you can get your snake pet. He doesn't play well with others, but he's he's a good one. The druid in the upcoming set has some adorable creatures in her deck. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing
cat.
the spoiler for that one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, and we got, this is kind of a cool big card. Necros Awaken the Dead. So when you play this, you may sacrifice up to 2 cards from your hand or discard pile. And for each card sacrificed, you can put a champion from your discard pile on top of your deck. And then it has ally draw card and scrap draw card. So if you're willing to give up your 8 cost action, you could take 2 champions from your discard pile and put them into your hand with Awaken the Dead. Or if you've got, assuming you have an ally ability, or just with the ally ability alone here, you're able to, clear some cards out of your deck, stack the top of your deck with some good champions, and then draw one of them immediately. So this card is a lot of fun to play with. You can imagine the combos that you can pull off with this guy.
Mm-hmm. People are. And Peter, with his suggestions, is suggesting that if people unlock enough stretch goals, that Rob will need to make the rattling ancestry.
Better get to work.
Let's see. Oh yeah, Amadeus has some other ideas. So yeah, we'll look forward to ideas. Only champions. Okay, so is that from the?
Yeah, so the Awaken the Dead only allows you to put champions on top of your deck. Now, obviously, you can scrap cards out of your deck and draw cards, even if you don't have any champions to put on top. Of course, you can buy a champion, then play this, and put the champion you just purchased on top of your deck. So it's not like the cleric ability where it only works on champions that were stunned since your last turn. It's basically take any champion from your discard pile and put it on top of your deck. So that can include champions that were stunned multiple turns ago, or champions that were just stunned, or champions that you've just purchased.
So I have a question about like how fast you're ramping your money. Do you happen to know how many 2 coins are in the starter deck of the Alchemist and Barbarian?
So
Peter?
I'm just going on memory here. I believe the Barbarian has 1.5. In that he's got one that gives him 1 ruby and 1 card which gives him a 1 gold normally, but 2 gold if when he's berserk. And I think the Alchemist has 1, 2 gold cards, but has multiple cards in the deck that can draw cards if you've got multiple cards of a faction out, and of course the cards to help that happen. But I'd have to go back and double check. But from memory, I believe that those are the numbers.
All right, we have a couple quick questions and then we'll go
Sure.
into the next topic. So, which is Nova Collection. So, how do I get this new Hero Realms content in Montreal?
We are going to have a next year at some time in the future, which we have not yet determined. Probably around early spring. We're going to be running a Hero Realms Dungeons Kickstarter. And we basically, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, we have well more than we usually have when we run a Kickstarter already done for Dungeons. So the whole market deck's done, the characters are designed, a bunch of the promo cards are designed, part of the dungeon adventure is designed. And usually we have some design that we do during the Kickstarter, some design that we do after the Kickstarter, and we can incorporate, backers' feedback and such. But we tend to be perfectionists, and we will change stuff. We will add content, etc., to make the best game that we can. And sometimes that can stretch things out and take a long time. And that has made us late on Kickstarters in the past. So it's kind of an X factor. How long will we keep tinkering before we decide, okay, we're fully done. In addition to that, recently with COVID, there's been delays on factories shutting down, factories working at partial capacity, all kinds of excess orders that were done previously, and all kinds. So big backlog. So it's taken us longer to get samples, longer to arrange printing. And shipping is an absolute nightmare right now. It's hard to get a container to get on a ship. It's hard to get a ship once you have a container. Once it's on a container, it's hard to get the ships are having a hard time getting through the port system. So it's hard to. So basically, we've got this huge X factor of how long will it take to get this printed and get it shipped. We don't know. So with those two things combined, it's just really hard to say, okay, when are we going to fulfill this Kickstarter? So what we've decided to do is remove one of the variables. We're just going to keep working as we would have if we had run the Kickstarter already. We're going to keep working on the Hero Realms and all our other products that we're doing. We're just going to get them further along in the process before we run the Kickstarter. So once we're ready, we'll let you know. We'll put up the Kickstarter, and then we'll have a much better idea when delivery will happen. We'll still be dealing with probably the craziness of shipping and factory delays, but we'll only have that mystery to deal with as far as the timing goes. So that's but at any rate, back to Kickstarter is the answer. We'll announce on our mailing list and here and everywhere else we can when that Kickstarter is happening. If you're not on our mailing list, you can, I assume, email support. How do you get on your mailing list if you're not?
You can email support. You can also, if you go to wisewizardgames.com and just at the bottom of the page, you can sign up for the newsletter as well. We don't send a ton of emails. So I think and we try to, they're generally full of lots of information. So I would recommend that you sign up. And then also we post these kinds of things on our social media as well. And we have this page for Hero Realms specifically. So if you sign up here, when we do these spoilers, this sign up is specifically if you want to get dungeon spoilers. If you sign up here, you'll be signed up for our newsletter. And if you're not already, if you already are, then that's great. And you'll also we're doing email. So for example, we shared some cards today. We'll send out an email with the details to that mailing list. We've already shared some other things like digital wallpaper and things like that. So if you're interested in getting the dungeon stuff and you're worried about missing when the Kickstarter is going live, when we cover stuff on here, that is the best place to do it. If you're on our regular mailing list, you will get updates. We'll be sure to let you know when the Kickstarter is going live. But for this one specifically, we're sending, when we share content, we're sending that out to that list. So yeah, thanks for all the questions. And I want to just quickly say, for questions about the product, okay, Rob's getting into Nova, so there's a couple other questions that I haven't gotten to yet, but so I'll do those at the end. I know there was a question about Wise Wizard Games, and there was a question about Epic, so we'll do those after the Nova Collection.
You can go ahead. You can answer. I was just
no, but you might take a while to answer it, so I know people have been waiting to see this. I just wanted to comment as Rob was talking. I saw some messages come in. So we get a lot of messages into our social media on like the Facebook groups and the Facebook pages where people are asking a question about how a card works or how to play the game. I highly recommend, if you have a question like that, to post it in the Here Realms discussion group or the Sorcerer group, to post it, or the Wise Wizard Games group. And because there's lots of people that will very quickly be able to just quickly answer your question. We try to be as responsive as we can, but we get a tremendous amount of messages coming in, and also you don't need to send it in multiple different places. Not this person didn't do that, but sometimes people will send the same question to support and to every social media page we have, and it's the same person that's going to be looking at those. So don't, if you just send to support, that's fine, but I would recommend, if it's a gameplay question or something that someone that plays the game can answer. Our community is super awesome about helping new players. So if you just post it in the group, generally people will answer questions. And yeah, so I just wanted to mention that, because I think a lot of times people don't want to bug people with questions. But we want to make sure, especially if you're in mid-game, that you get the question answered immediately. So Rob, why don't you go ahead and we'll show Nova now. This is our new Deluxe Star Realms.
So basically, when we're making games, one of the last steps in the process is a pre-production proof. So basically, we've gotten all the files into the printer, and we've gotten some samples of various stuff along the way, and then we get a version of the game, which they're like, all right, this is the what it's going to look like when the final version. And with this one, we spent some extra money to get them to use some the actual factory machines that are going to be used, because we needed to make sure that the components were coming out the way that we wanted them to be. This is the pre-production proof of the Deluxe Nova Collection, and obviously this thing is really big. One of the features of the Deluxe Nova Collection is it comes with a board, and we made the board full playmat size, and of course that influenced the size of the box. And then we had a design layout of the box, and one of the things backers said, well, it's a big box, let's have more card storage space. So we had components sort of laid out sort of in a pretty fashion in the box, with all the score dials and stuff sort of spread out. And backers were like, hey, we want to be able to store more cards in here. So basically, it's kind of like a universal storage box for your deluxe collection. So this is the box, and I don't know how much of it we can catch, but you can see on the planet there, you're getting some shine effect. That is this UV coating that is on highlights of the artwork. It's hard to get it to show up on camera, but it looks really cool in person. And that's throughout the art on the front of the box, on the sides of the box, and it really catches highlights on the ships and the planets and stuff in really cool ways. And it is on all the art throughout. So I'm just sort of showing off the art on the various sides here. You can sort of see the effect there. The box, so it's very solid box material. We also decided to go with the magnetic box. So it's got magnets built in here and in the box sides. And when you open up the box, there's this really cool big art piece there, and you can sort of see the board inside. I'm gonna set this down so I can show the inside parts a little better.
I'm like moving back to give you room.
Sorry, yeah,
I can step out if you need
yeah,
more
maybe
room.
step out for 1 sec. Sorry, guys.
I'll take my coffee.
And there's nobody on screen for a second. All right, here I'm coming back to show the interior of the box. So on the interior of the box here, you can see it's got a big row here and a big row here. This is all the foil cards that the base set comes with. So there's clearly room for more. So if you want to store your other Star Realm sets in here, you can. Or if you end up getting further foil sets that we make in the future, you'll be able to store them in this one big box. This has that. This is a plastic vac tray, but it's got that sort of cloth, fuzzy material feel to it, so it feels really nice. It's got 2 foam blocks. These foam blocks actually the ones that they made for us are too small. They're supposed to be sort of wedge in nicely across here, and they're a little small for that, but those are super easy to size up. You got all your score dials stored here. So there's a stack of 6 score dials in here. Here's a spot for the oversized, this is the solo and cooperative board for Nemesis Beast and Pirates of the Dark Star. This is made out of that really nice plastic material. So it's a thick plastic. And underneath here is a storage area, which is large enough for the oversized cards that come in like the Frontier set. So you can store those in that section as well if you like. And I'll show you these dividers. So we have a stack of them here. It comes with plastic dividers. So these are like the plastic dividers for the various game components, like the Explorers, personal decks. So we have 6 personal decks that are in the set. So you've got dividers for all those. These are all that nice thick plastic material. They're they're really solid, and they look super nice. These came out a little darker than we wanted. So basically, we're printing on a bunch of different materials here. We're printing on paper. We're printing on foil cards. We're printing on and we're printing on plastic. And with every ink, every material, etc. You don't just have an image, give it to a printer, and it comes out looking exactly like it does on your computer screen. You've got to deal with the printing process, the material you're printing on, the inks you're using, all have effects on that. So sometimes, even though we'll give 2 files that are identical, if they're printed on different materials, they might come out differently. And a lot of times you have to try it to sort of see how it comes out. So we're going to be so one of the fixes that we're making is we're going to be lightening these up before we go into mass production. We've got a question here. So what all comes with a box, and when will it be available? So this is the Deluxe Nova Collection. It was a Kickstarter item, and so it's not going to, generally speaking, it's not going to be in stores. We did have the ability for stores to back. So some stores will be getting some number of these Deluxe Nova Collections, but it's not going to be something that's continuously available in retail. It's something that backers will be getting. You could get it by backing future Kickstarters, or stores that are part of our Wizards Guild program will be able to get a limited number of these directly from us, but they won't be available in general distribution. We had a very strong reaction to the Deluxe Nova Collection when we ran it on Kickstarter. We will definitely be doing other foil sets in the future. And we've made this box big enough so that if you get this collection and you decide to get other ones in the future, there'll be room in the box for them. And we've shown off the foil cards in previous Kickstarter or previous episodes of this. And also, if you look on the Kickstarter page, you'll be able to find that as well. All right, so this is the game board, and this has that cool UV effect as well. I'm gonna try and catch it on. It doesn't show up on camera as well as it does in person, but you can sort of see on the ships how certain points on the ships are shining when the light reflects off them. You get some, on that Machine World base, you can sort of see a little bit of that effect, but that it's got that effect throughout the art on the entire board. It's full playmat size, so I can believe that's 14 by 24 inches, I think, but basically the same size as our playmats, and of course has this beautiful art. Now, some of our backers were a little concerned about the art being too busy and distracting from play, so as backers requested, we gave sort of on the back side, we have a pretty but less busy piece of artwork, and this one does not have any of that UV treatment on this side, so it doesn't, so it's not shiny. So if you want a subdued board, you can use this side, and if you want the cool art with all the shinies, we have it on this side. So that is the Deluxe Nova Collection, and we are super excited about it. We do have some things that need to be fixed. So basically, the point of this is a proof. We get it. We say, okay, yes, it's great, print, or oh no, please change this, please change that. And I have a list on our in the update of all the things that we found which we want to improve upon. So we're going to be doing a round of changes, and then get another get samples or get verification those changes are made to our satisfaction through like pictures from the factory or whatnot. But once those changes are all implemented, then we'll be going to print. So it's been a very, very long road. I thank all the backers for their patience on it, and we are doing our very best to make sure that this is awesome and amazing for you. So playmats without any locations for cards is certainly a possibility. We've got some really awesome art, and I know sometimes people like to use playmats with other games, like maybe you play Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh or something, and you want playmat for your cards and that, and like Star Realms or Hero Realms art. So that's something we could potentially do. We don't have any plans for that in the process currently. All right. If you guys have any other questions, I'll let Debbie jump back in.
I have a couple of questions that came up earlier.
Yeah.
But thanks everyone for joining. We're gonna stay on and answer a couple of other questions about other topics.
And if there's anything in that box that you want to get a closer look at, let us know. I could grab it out.
Yeah, we can zoom in. So when will the Heroes Dungeons Kickstarter be?
Again, basically, we're doing the process now where basically everything's designed and or nearly everything's designed. We have a little bit of design work left. We have all of our development work left, or most of our development work left, which is normally about the time we run a Kickstarter, which is why we had it scheduled for now. We are going to be finishing up design and going through all the development process, the play testing, the balancing, all that stuff for the dungeon stuff. When that is nearly done, or either done or nearly done, that's when we'll launch the Kickstarter. And we don't know exactly when that's going to be. My best guess is a few months, but this is the whole reason we're waiting longer is this is an unknown. Like basically you have a general estimate, but if you come up with a cool new idea and you need to test it out and it's not quite balanced right, you got to tweak it a few times. It can, it can be a little bit of a mystery on exactly how long it will take. So, so basically, spring-ish is my guess.
Yeah, we're moving forward with everything that we will be even more prepared than we already are when the Kickstarter launches, and will be, like we said, if you sign up for the Dungeons newsletter, and we also post these things on social media as well, we're sharing more spoilers, which I think is really exciting, because we generally don't share a ton of spoilers before we launch a Kickstarter, but because we're getting farther along in the process and we have the cards fully laid out, why not? So that's really exciting for me. There was a question here, Rob, if you can answer it. When did we change the company name, which was that was in the spring? We changed it around the time of Gamma, because it does impact it was from Zach. It does impact, our retail and distribution partners. And maybe you can chat just very quickly, explain what the thinking was on that, Rob.
Sure. So, so basically, this is actually something we initiated a long time ago. There's a lot involved in doing a name change for a company. You got to make sure that the name is available, and you've got all kinds of assets that need to change, etc. So our original company name was White Wizard Games. This was a Tolkien nod, a reference to the sort of the wizarding tiers in Tolkien. So like Saruman the White or Gandalf the White. And so that was sort of the origin of the original White Wizard Games name. It was a cool name, and a lot of people liked it. We grew as a company, and we started getting employees all over the world, and and all over the U.S. And we get occasional comments from our employees that were in the southeastern United States that people would sometimes look at them funny with the White Wizard Games when they're wearing White Wizard Games apparel, and there were occasional questions on if this was some kind of reference to white supremacy or other, or the Ku Klux Klan, etc. Which of course it wasn't, and Ku Klux Klan doesn't have a white wizard, but they do wear goofy white robes, and so basically that was obviously an association that we didn't want and would never want to have. And it wasn't something that was on our radar, but any people having that association is too many. So we decided, okay, we're gonna move away. we're gonna move away from that name. And Gandalf is a wise wizard, so and we wanted to keep the WW with the wizard name. So so Wise Wizard Games we thought was a great name change, because that kept the WWG abbreviation. It's still still a wizard wizard reference, and so we made the change to Wise Wizard Games. So that's the reason for the name change. Happened earlier this year, and it's been very smooth. Basically, it was very easy for retailers and distributors, because our product abbreviations, etc., all stayed the same as WWG. So,
our SKU numbers are the same.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's a minimum pain name change.
Yeah. So thanks. Yeah, I like Peter's comment. Poor Gandalf. So one other question we had here was, are there any plans for Epic card game updates?
So Epic card game. So yes, we're continuing to put. So we've got a bunch of content in Epic physical that is not yet in Epic digital. We're going to continue over time. We recently put some new cards in, and we're going to continue to do that over time. And we don't have any new large sets for Epic in the pipeline currently, but we will be getting. We will make new Epic cards from time to time, but we don't have any in the pipeline now. So there's no new physical product in the pipeline. However, we just had a whole bunch of physical product drop for Epic fairly recently. So we've got the dual set, which is awesome. The Guardians of Goanna set, which is another fantastic set, and we've got 4 packs of cards. The Lost Tribe set. There's a Kickstarter exclusive pack, and then there's also cards that a pack of cards that come in the big epic universal storage box. And you can, those cards, we know a bunch of epic players want to play constructed and have draft decks, so they'll have like 3 or 4 copies of every card. So the cards that come in the big box can be bought separately.
I still want more, Rob.
Okay. Yes. So
we love to hear it.
Yeah, we love to hear it. So there's tons and tons of content out there, and likely we'll have a spattering of promo cards. In the future. I know we have actually one promo card we're designing right now for a promotion. Can't remember which one it was, but basically there'll be some promo cards, and obviously if we do another big set, we'll let you guys know in a million different ways.
Yeah. This is I could just give you my personal PayPal email. No. So the Here Realms card gallery to get updated. So this is something that a lot of people have been asking for. So we will take a look at our priorities. It's really just a matter of prioritization in terms of getting the card gallery updated. We have a lot of things going on, and the graphic design team is like the Nova Collection was many late nights, all nights.
And we got a lot of projects cooking right now. So our graphic design team's a little flat out, so we probably will not be getting to the card gallery in the immediate future.
But it's good to let us know, because when you give us feedback on like this is important and we really want this, that's helpful, because we have to make decisions on the priorities, and it does come up occasionally about should we do this or that. So thank you. And I'm glad you're interested in that. Let me see. I feel like there was another question. Is there any other questions that people have before Peter wanted to know, so what games that are not our games? Oh yeah, because Sorcerer is definitely my favorite Halloween game, Peter. You know that. Did we enjoy the most? So yeah, I posted a picture of Daisy with a lot of, I don't know if it's been posted yet. I actually have a poster of Rob as a wise wizard trick-or-treating. So maybe we can post that up on social media. I sent it after Halloween. But we played, we played a few games that are not Halloween themed. So we've been playing some Robot Quest Arena, because we have the rule book, for that. And we've been play testing that. And actually I went into Night Moves Game Cafe here in Boston, and there was a group that was play testing Robot Quest Arena. We played Patchwork. So Patchwork has come up many times our games are mentioned when people say, what are the best 2-player games out there? And since Rob and we play a lot together, just the two of us, that came up. So I had picked it up and we hadn't played it yet, but Devin from Night Moves did a quick because I was like, I've been thinking about this game, and he showed us how to play really quick, and we had a lot of fun with that. That's like a quick, pretty easy, quick game to play. In terms of creepy games, so Zombie Dice, I used to play. I have some nostalgia for it. When my older kids were young, CJ and Sabrina, we used to play Zombie Dice. I used to have a little backpack of games that I would take with me, if we were going out to eat or, going to a school activity, and Zombie Dice was one of the games that I kept in there. There was Flux, Chrononauts was another favorite. So I went to Geekway to the West, and Steve Jackson Games was next to us, and they have deluxe Zombie Dice. Mm-hmm. So I had a lot of fun with that, and Mateo and I played. I recommend that one. But that's, again, a kind of a quick, super fun dice checking game. And then Zombie Kids was also in that picture, which we played with Daisy, and that's she
liked that quite a bit.
Yeah,
actually.
It's a legacy style game, which is easy enough that you can play with your 7-year-old. Our daughter's 7. So it's a children's game. They do have a teen version now, which we don't have yet, but it's a legacy style game with a Halloween theme. There's a couple in that stack that I haven't yet played. Like, I really want to play the Escape. I think it's Escape from the Haunted Mansion, I think it's called. It's with Scooby-Doo, and it was designed by a friend of ours, Sen. So I want to play that, and we haven't yet. So I think that's based on Betrayal on the House of the Hill, I believe. I might be wrong. But yeah, which one is your favorite, Peter? And if anyone else has any favorite Halloween games or game they've played lately, we'd love to hear it. So yeah, let me know, Peter, what your favorite. So, someone else had asked earlier if we were ever gonna like move away from Kickstarter in terms of organizing everything. And then we have another question here about how do we keep things organized. So they asked about like if we would move away from Kickstarter on fulfillment and stuff. So actually, like Kickstarter, maybe manages a I mean, I wouldn't even say it's half of the stuff that we do in terms of just managing a Kickstarter. There's so much that goes into a Kickstarter that is not managed by Kickstarter. The system behind Kickstarter is actually pretty simple. So we don't like Kickstarter basically manages the pledges, even in terms of like the page. So when you look at our Kickstarter page, we have a Google sheet, which will list like, here's all the assets we need for a page. We use a combination. Someone asked like, what do we use? We use a combination depending on the task and the project of Google Sheets. We use a lot. We use Trello in terms of managing tasks for the graphic design team, for example. And we have a Trello board for the marketing team as well. And individual people use Trello. Trello is a very basic Kanban tool. We tend to use an agile workflow. So that style of organization works better for us than like a traditional project management thing, so that we can be working on a lot of things. We have a lot of projects going at once, as you can tell. And then we also use Slack a lot as well as a team. So in terms of like real-time communication, we're always talking to each other. And the thing we like about Trello is you can put details in, you can attach files, and then assign it to someone or tag someone. And then when something needs to be reviewed, you can move it to the next column, and completed, you can move it to the next column. But in terms of Kickstarter itself, it doesn't actually manage a lot of stuff on the back end. And then we have very few meetings as a company. We're pretty, I would say, modern in terms of everyone being remote and distributed and not having many meetings. But for example, like I have a weekly logistics meeting with our logistics team, where we'll go through and we use Google Sheets for most of things there. Some things we use Excel because the logistics gets pretty intense. So there's times when Google Sheets, doesn't have everything that we would want to, isn't as easy to use as Excel for some things. But so we do a weekly meeting for that. So we do have some meetings, but generally we do most everything online, distributed using those types of tools.
So Peter said, Vampire: The Eternal Struggle. That is a classic, really a great
That's your favorite
deck builder from Richard Garfield, and Wizards of the Coast.
Why don't we have that one?
It's
Is it out of print?
I think it's in print right now, but it's gone in and out of print. That is like almost as old as Magic the Gathering. That game's been around for a very long time. It's an awesome one. And had a Eldritch Horror victory. Nice.
That's awesome. I love to do thematic games on holidays. So I want to be one of those people that, Scooby Betrayal, I had to get it. I'm a big Scooby fan. I love to do a game night where it's like a theme, but it doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah.
So I want to do more of that. I've seen on Instagram. So I don't know if anyone else here is on Instagram or belongs to any of the board game groups, but I'm somewhat active in those. And when I see someone like, oh, it's Under the Sea game night and we're playing all ocean themed games, and here's, our ocean spread of snacks for the evening. I'm like, I wish you lived in Boston. I would so want to go to your game night. So that kind of thing is really exciting to me. So I want to do more of that. And I was excited to go to the night moves in Boston because I've been meaning to get in there. I want to go to more of the board game cafes now that we're able to get out a little bit more.
And apparently,
it's
Vampire
a living card game now.
Is in the living card game format. So that's awesome.
We'll have to check that out. All right, I think we've answered all the questions here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us,
everyone.
Everybody.
Thanks. I know it was long, so thanks for hanging in here with us, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.
See you, everybody.